Hi there. Welcome to the Frugal Soul Gardener. And this time, our subject is making the most of your meat. Yes, meat prices are ridiculous. And how I got hold of this, I was actually blessed by a neighbor with this meat. And as happy as my mom and I are to have this, we know that the smart thing to do is to make the most of your meat for two reasons. One, for economic, but also our health. Take, for example, this steak. How many servings of steak do you see here? Well, according to the USDA, a serving of meat is actually about half of this, 4 ounces. And I realized that doesn't look like a lot of meat. And that's true. But that's what they say it is. In fact, it's been recommended that a serving of meat, like take your fist, that's about a serving of meat. Now you may be thinking, well, that doesn't look very satisfying. Probably not. Which is why if you can find ways to stretch your meat, you'll get more all the flavor of the meat without completely blowing your budget to kingdom come. Now, the reason why, for the health reason for the USDA, to consume a pound of meat at one sitting, that's a lot of fat to consume in one sitting. So, what is your go around? You find ways to stretch. When I look at this, the steak, I think, hey, I could make steak fajitas. I could make a Chinese stir fry. Slice it really thin. I'm telling you, there are many, many recipes out there that will tell you how you can stretch steak. So instead of having a big old honkin' steak you eat all and you kind of get weighed down, you get a little bite of steak in each mouthful. How do you find them? Easy. The internet. So what you can put in this, I would say in the subject line, would be something to the effect, budget stretching recipes using steak. Same is true with hamburger. Now, we actually got a 2 1/3 pound package of this. And I admit, Mom and I did have a hamburger apiece because we hadn't had a hamburger apiece at home since who knows how long. But I took the remaining 2 pounds of hamburger, and I put them in separate freezer bags and stowed them in the freezer. And like for today, I went back to, again, there are many ways to use even more using hamburger. Today I'm going to be making a hamburger stroganoff with a homemade cream of chicken soup. And that can really stretch it. And the other great thing you can do to stretch your meat is to combine it with other proteins. Not a meat protein necessarily. This would be perfect in chili with beans. Texans, I apologize. But if you add beans to that, that'll way stretch it out. And if you want to add a little more protein, believe it or not, serve it with tortilla chips. I'm going to let you in a little secret. I'll probably talk more about this in a video later on down the line. But if you combine a grain like tortilla chips and a legume like kidney beans, that creates what's called a complete protein. So you have a bean and beef chili with some tortilla chips. You got protein up the wazoo. And it may not always be easy. And until inflation comes down and prices come down and wages come up, if you can find ways to stretch those meat dollars, you can enjoy the flavor of meat, but have it a little bit easier on the pocketbook. Until next time, stay frugal, friends.